Hey there, Joy of the World friends and family. This is Joy with Joy of the World, here to take an intuitive peek into the energies going on around you. Friends and subscribers, welcome back. And if you're new to this channel, click that subscribe. Ring the bell. They will notify you anytime I post new videos. Also, if you find you like the content we provide here at Joy of the World, give us that big thumbs up. Don't be stingy. Like and share. Share it to peeps, your friends, your family. Save it to a playlist, whatever. But I want you to level up in this energy that is provided here for you to bring in your best, bold, bright dreams to make our world a better place, because what's good for you brings in the best for all of us as well. And that's sincerely why I'm here at Joy to the World, is to afford you that opportunity of support and love and help. Okay, so you're calling it Frisky Friday. I know we freaky up in here because we talk about the stuff not anybody else talks about, but you're feeling frisky. We are wrapping up this week of everybody getting kind of spicy up in the middle of their readings, wanting to get all like sexual and stuff, like spring fever, but it is autumn fever. COVID put a lockdown on spring fever, and everybody got suppressed and repressed for a moment. But we know what happens when you try and contain the popcorn. Pop, 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 pop. It expands, and eventually that thing's going to pop and blow wide open. So that's what's happening here, friends. No, you want to start with this. Okay, so you're like, bring in the oracles, Joy, bring in the oracles. I'm like, whatever, let's see what's going on. And you know I don't ever shuffle on camera. What you doing to me? People, what you got going on in here? Don't you believe I shuffle all my decks? I believe in keeping them clean and ready. But you're like, Joy, get it moving for us. Get it fine. And get it moving right now. And I'm like, okay. One more. We're going to take a look at this. It's normally because I just want to spare you the noise and the time. So we got two coming out. What you talking about? You want to tell a story because you're like, 4 more, please. I'm like, that is a lot, my friend. But we can do it. If you got the ears to listen, I got the lips to speak. Okay. Let's find out what is underneath that energy going on there for our Joy to the World friends and family. Remember, these are timeless reads, and they're not just Monday reads nor Friday reads. They're anytime you want to reads. That's what they're here for. They're here to just bring in more energy for you to be able to tune in. If you're someone who just listens to one of the zodiac things, this gives you some backup, baby. But just so you know, we are the whole zodiac. That is short one. We need one more. Okay, one more, friend. There's a shadow here. I have to bring it. There's a shadow. Why you got all this stuff going on? What you hiding, baby? That's what this week has been about. Those underlying things, the undercurrents, the undertones, the stuff that's been blocking you and getting in the way because your body's ready to be free. Mind, body, and soul. No longer just your mind and your soul and fighting it out in the skin suit we've got going on. You're like ready to bring it in. This was some shadow energy going on under here. I didn't know it was going to show up in this read, but I'm ready to go for it. How about you? All right. Let's see what the shadow energy is. So you were on the bottom, so you were definitely the one, and you're the reiteration of what is going on here. But you're saying money on my mind, money on my mind. Something about the like coupon books of all these offers coming at you, but it's like you don't quite have the eyes to see because you're distorting your own vision of yourself. A lot of Hierophant energy showing up in here of expectations of who you think you should be and how you think it should look and all those other things. They're kind of just folds and enfoldments that get in the way, like flabby jabby, like trying to run in a long skirt. You got to hike that thing up to get moving, and you're like, yeah, Joy, okay, we are being hindered. We are feeling restrained. We are feeling held back. And look at us getting all haughty and getting trapped up in our own mess, our own beliefs and expectations. We don't want to be like that anymore. No. And then that makes me like an open book, and then I feel stupid. Now, I don't know why that word is showing up this week, but I don't like it. Be kind to yourself. Speak well of yourself, okay? Because you know what? We're the only one in charge of us now. We're our authority, in our empowerment, okay? So here, that's kind of limited you when you have the whole vast world around you. It has kept you so contained and hemmed in into this area of specialty, into this area of confidence where you really feel like you know yourself. But the thing is, that's a figment. That is a figment of your imagination. Look at that, wanting to be in 2 worlds, of one, but living in another. Choose. choose, and I see you choosing. You're choosing that upper half. You're choosing the bare breast. You're choosing to be unctuous and juicy and divine. I don't care if you're a man or a woman tuning in here. The breasts represent our fruitfulness. They represent our ease and our effortlessness of being able to feed and nourish ourselves and nurture the life that we are going after. It's about dreams coming into true and the embodiment of pleasure and fulfillment. Okay? So, with those at the top, ooh, I gotta stretch my leg, baby. With those at the top, let's see what is going on underneath the shadow. Okay. You talk about joy. You said lift the skirt, and I'm like, all right, because they talk about long ago. There was this old adage that talked about those who exalt themselves and lift themselves up, others will be able to see up your skirt. And that's back when men and women all wore the long robe, right? And so they talk about the higher up you try and go, people will just be able to see straight up in all your business, all your business. So you're talking about lift the skirt, joy. Lift those old ways, those old ideas, the old expectations, you're like, pull the veil off, pull the earthen body off, pull that stuff, the disguise off of us, joy. Interesting. I love it. Sure. But you want me to get an angel in to help us on that? So I'm glad to. And a wisdom card. So let's get an angel to help us with disrobing. Might as well, because if we're going to be air bodies, we need to be those breasts all going around, because that's what you breathe in. You're breathing air up in there. You're ready for this. You're ready for this. You're ready to be free from the lostness that you felt. But that's why this year came in, to really disrupt and to rumble and to tumble and topsy-turvy things, so that we didn't totally just flip out when it does change. We've been disrupted and disturbed a bit at a time, and now I'm Capricorn sun and my Mercury side by side, so it's like a double sun in the first house of all things even. So talk about disruptive when we have this Pluto, we have Jupiter, we have all these squares and stuff going on in there. And then we got Mars visiting off in Aries, and my Chiron's in Aries and Chiron's in Aries, and I got all this explosion going on, and I am stirred up. I understand. I'm ready. But see, that's the thing, like giving birth or waiting for Christmas or a great event to come. That pressure, that anticipation builds so that it heightens the excitement, and it adds to the enthusiasm and the energy for the change. It's setting up, how would you say that? It's setting the stage for what's to come. It's the attitude that we enter with. So let's go ahead and make that attitude. I see you. You're hiding, right? That attitude shift and change that is necessary. There was a wrong pairing going on in there. Somebody got out of line. So we're just going to find out and get it back in line. Zachriel and Hasmed. Ooh, Hasmed. I love Hasmed. You want to know why? Annihilation. Look at that. He's the angel of annihilation. Look what he is annihilating. Look at that ring around the mind. He's channeling in Uranus energy and channeling in that Saturnian energy. And talk about the rules and regulations that we had up here. This was that jump. Talk about Uranus and Saturn. This is us leveling up and exchanging the old rate of currency for the way the world and the nation life used to run before into the new currency, the new, we could say download, but it's the new interchange of energy, because it's not just all going to fall on a head like the sky fell on a henny penny, that type of thing that would cause us to worry and to fret and to fear. It is this merging, but it is like a breathing. It is a synergistic, I wish for y'all to be able to see it. It's fantastic. It's like Zachriel here, the angel of memory. Look at those ribbons flying around. Again, we're talking about the crown chakra. We're talking about our intelligence and our imagination merging on together, opening up the enlightenment of the heart and bringing forth what is behind us into our now. And it's not past, it's only past if we turn around and try and pay attention to it, because that's when we see things distorted. We don't see things as they are, because if I look in the mirror, what is my right eye looks like my left, correct? That can fool us. It can fool us into misunderstanding anything. But whose reading was that? Somebody's reading had the emperor, and they locked into the eyes of the emperor to look through it. Oh, that was Cancer. Oh my God, y'all. If you could bear through, I got new lighting, new microphone, and it all just was a debacle. I didn't even like it. But if you want to find out about locking into that vision and it coming in to synergize and to join with you, to like thrust you, to rocket blast you into this future, into this new era, this new age with intensity and fervency, getting on board, getting on page, because talking about traveling at the speed of light, traveling at the speed of sound, traveling through the airways, waves, just like that. That is what Zachriel is about here. So at that point, hit up Cancer's video from this week, and it will get you in alignment with what is going on there. Talk about Emperor energy aligning and seeing it straight through from your own eyes within out into your empowerment. It's fantastic. But that's when we're crowned with glory. That's when the sun is our beauty and our shield, our eminence, our emancipation. Sorry, I can't pick it up yet. I'm like, y'all, there are these ancient fires that are coming, flames that don't burn. There's more than one. There's more than one. Okay, let me show it. Y'all, let me fish for a rune. You know I don't ever do this during these things. So, sorry, I hope you can hang in here for all this, because this is some leveling up. This isn't just some Frisky Friday. Y'all are like, Joy, just go ahead and bring in the whole future. Bring in the next 3 months right now and get us prepared. And I'm like, okay, because this isn't like having a stockpile or anything. This is literally stripping down, stripping off the old into the new. No, okay. So this is not exactly easy. There's a lot of cards here. Okay, there's a bit of that going on. Let me see the other one. I appreciate your patience for hanging in there, y'all. Let's go into this. Let's find out what it is. I think that's it there. But then that means part of it is obscured. Yeah, I don't memorize these things, because then I would be trying to act out of that, out of my knowingness, out of this. Instead, they've asked me to just flow. To flow with each moment, and the way I properly flow is to know nothing. That is the Fool. That is the Fool energy, and that is the gossamer string Fool, the Fool unto life that you see in my Mary L deck, not the Fool that leads unto death. Okay, so it's clearly this is not that one. I thought I knew it. So here it's talking about, so in the body of the robe, right, of Zachriel here, she is whispering to us. She is whispering to us, and it's right down here, y'all. Okay. So she's whispering to us excessive striving, arrogance, imbalance, foolishness, and that's the foolishness unto death, right? That's like ridiculousness, ignorance, that type of stuff. Failure and languishing. Gone is the way with this. So I'm proud of you for sticking in here and leveling up yourself. You know, at this time, I don't do these shortened ones where I have you pay for the extension of the read. Right now, we're doing whole sessions, because I don't even know how to fool with all that right now. I just trust y'all to provide the love and support that I need in this channel, because that's what brings in these new cards and what brings in hopefully better lightings that doesn't blind me, so I can continue to reach out to you guys with greater quality. But that's what Zachriel is talking about here. Shedding that skirt, shedding that you're calling it bullishness, of acting like you know and forging ahead in the intensity of the mind, when you're like, let us carry you from the belly, let us carry you from the body. What card is that coming from? That is coming from which deck? From the belly. Okay, that's coming from these. You're wanting me to get into these. It's not to look for that card, but let's find out what you're talking about being carried from the belly. And right here, the crown chakra, I'll talk to you about Hasman, the annihilation. He says, what you let bother your mind, you're going to get busy with your hands. Like on one of my sons, we used to call it, you got busy fingers, and that means you're about to be your own undoing. Okay, friend? So during this little bit of transition, don't be your own undoing. That is really what the flow, that's funny, it's called flow. That is what flow is talking about here. Okay, so let's turn the tide and let's flow. That's what Hasman is here to remind us of, because if not, we will become our own undoing. Why? How? Through excessive striving, through that bullishness of forcing it through or pushing it through, or using mind over matter. But the thing is, they're saying mind doesn't matter. Mind does not matter. That is not the air chatter that's coming in. This is the era of air, and it's like plasma type air. It is common unity, community, communication, communion. It has to do with plasma, all right? It has to do with that state of the world being so expansive and contracted at the same time that what we say we will see. And that is what Hasman is reiterating here, is literally your mind commands and creates right before your eyes. And they're telling us to begin to adjust and adapt now, but also to accept, recognize, and realize. Accept, recognize, and realize. Flow. Because when we flow, here is what this deer card, you asked me to go get it, to be led by the belly. I'll show you closely again in a minute after I take a look. But this deer card is bringing in the flow, the agreement, the turning of the tide into this new season. 200 years, y'all. Who gonna be here? Who gonna be here for all of it? But the thing is, live present every day. Experience living. Union and merging, unseen powers and happily ever after. That unseen powers is this plasma energy that is the cosmos conspiring. It is the energy of the planets, the energy of the stars, of your hopes, dreams, your wishes, all the prayers that you've uttered, every tear that you shed, every fiber of your being, and every vibration sound, every recording of your energy that's ever been made. So the thing is if we are these eternal beings of bringing into the now, which is what Zachriel has been doing, is the composition of self, your symphony of self, begin to refine it and tune it. Take a look at it. Take a look at your streams. Be simplistic and basic. Bring it back to the basics, because all this stuff, the expectations, the whatever else is cluttering you up, right? And kept you limited, choking in this world that we were living in. No sense of source of freedom. And here is that flow ready to talk to us about the deer. And the deer is coming in as the 11 of seeing yourself clearly, seeing yourself plainly. Well, how do you do it? Look through these two eyes you've been gifted with, and hopefully you have two. And if not, thank you for being here. I appreciate you exactly as you are. So we go see with the eyes of the heart then, okay, friend? And this it's called power. Ooh, who talked about the white stag this week? Somebody's love it is the white stag coming on in, but they don't need to be intimidated by your heavenly crown you're wearing, friend. Look at you holding. You're merging. Oh. Okay, y'all, I almost can't even speak. My battery's trying to shut down. So I can't even speak, y'all. This is Jupiter and Mars merging into one in your crown, in this leveling up. It's as if like Hesmed and Zachriel combine their crowns. Look at this way and look at this way. It makes like a plus sign. It makes like I don't even know how to say it. A gyroscope, a mapping of the elements of all time. But look at that massiveness, and you're able to contain it because you have expanded your capacity over this time, over these last 20 years, which has been the merging of the mind, the overlayment, and the shifting from Earth 200 years into the air. And it matches the energy of that white stag. So whoever that white stag is, male or female, this is you, listener, okay? And this is the person that is being brought about here. And they're going to exchange from their deity form into their human form. They need not be intimidated. So I'm telling the one here to the energy. I'm speaking to the realm. Remember, we get what we say. So I'm going to say it. Is no need to be intimidated by the crown of our listeners here, of the Mars and the Jupiter merging together. Because talk about your masculine power. Masculine? Who's Asa? Okay. Somebody's speaking through me because I say masculine, our masculine power coming on in here and being able to have the neck that can bear it and hold it. It's not like the burdens of Atlas. It's not like the burdens of Earth. This has a different weight and volume and composition to it, okay? So you're showing me now how we're going to do this, So this is opening up this road, this gate, and this channel to see what we've got, initiating what you're stirring and divining and shaking and bringing up in here. You're beckoning and calling it forth because you have this hidden magic secret tool in your hand. It's a hand of the heart and the mind coming together. You're sweeping out the old, and while you're doing that movement, you're also calling in the new. You're calling in this energy to merge with yourself. You're saying you're open and you're giving permission. Okay, so that's for 45. For the proposal. For the power. Okay. So you're considering all this and understanding the power and the implication and the ramifications of what all this means to you, of how to activate your sun and your solarness, because our sun represents seeing ourselves directly like this, like through the eyes of the emperor that showed up in the you remember whatever read I said it was in, y'all. I'm so far in the channel, I'm just trying to swim. But that's you being able to step forth into that power and making the connection to your sun, the restoration and returning to yourself in your sun. Now, our sun has to do with how our family members see us and how we see ourselves. And that's where there can be the disconnect. All right. So I will be making a short video to talk about what these general placements mean in our lives, because one of the viewers asked, they said they were confused, and I'm going to be happy to share. But I'm sharing right now that often that's where we can disconnect. Because some of us choose to enter in through our wheel to come into a placement in the home where there is some incongruency, where there's some difficulty, some attack, some underhandedness, underminingness. I don't even know whatever is. All the S's up in there, whatever. And so therefore we don't see ourselves clearly, and we kind of draw away from that part of ourselves, which can then activate our north node. And our north node, our ascendant, actually, excuse me, our ascendant is how others see us. It's how the world sees us around us. And that's why sometimes we can be like, I don't get that. I don't know why you see me as like curly, bouncy, adventurous. I'm like, I don't know why. Because I'm Sagittarius ascendant, okay? And I'm Capricorn sun, all right? With that Mercury right beside it, which makes it a double sun first house. And I'm like, no, I'm serious. I'm the thinker. I'm the student. Yes, I'm the go-getter. I'll go get it. I'll run it. I'll do it, for your benefit, for whatever. But see, you could see how that could create a disconnect in your life. And you'll just push more into being that ascendant and leaving the sun behind, but having this parting of the waters where you're not connected to yourself. So that's where Zachriel is coming in. Okay, I'm going to take a look at this middle. Hope that makes sense, y'all. 33. Ooh, talk about divine creation. You like, Pisces up in here, Neptune up in here. You're fishing in the waters of prosperity. You're fishing on, but you're both dual. Okay? You're fishing for the reward. And that's not a bad thing. It's not PHISHING. It is fishing. Taking your own effort, your own soul, your own connectivity to the divine, to the ethereal, to your own umbilical cord, your own lifeline of your divine self to yourself. And you're wanting to bring forth the roots of your tree of life, to bring them out of the waters. That's very Piscean. So this is something that's buzzing and resonating for you. Tune into the Pisces video, any of them, because we've really been taking time to talk about what is submerged, being made known. That no part of Pisces has to be hidden anymore, okay, or dismissed or underplayed, okay? It's about being able to be fully present, to be the host and enjoy the dinner, okay? To be the driver and enjoy the ride, that whole thing going on. You put your toe off in this, baby. Ooh, you tickling some fish down there. You tune into some prosperity. You're waking it up, and you're like, I'm just playing with it a little bit. I'm not so sure about this. It makes me a little bit nervous. I'm not so sure. I'm a little nervous about what's going on in here because how well things are going to work. That all I have to do is put my mind to it, and I'm like, do I really want that? Is this really what I want? Because you're not looking at headlong. You're looking at the kingfisher, the reward, the satisfaction of your belly being filled. Okay. So from there we step into, that was your creative, your divine creative power and energy. We have the 43. And it's how do we put this in place? How do we put this into our mind? How do we bring it from that realm, the Neptunian energy, this Jungian energy, this beyond us energy, and bringing it into the truth of self? You're not so sure. It's like, what level, what devil, how does this play out? And how do we really divine with this? I'm saying take your clothes off. And that doesn't mean go streaking and getting naked, people. I mean, all these robes, all these expectations, all these definitions and stigmatized words, right? Because if I say the word manipulation, most of you got to think somebody messing with me, when really your fingers are called your mani. That's why it's called a manicure. And it means to move. To manipulate is exactly, if I do this, I'm manipulating that card, okay? If I do this, I'm manipulating my outfit. It just simply means to move. But we have these associations and these shortcuts of what our mind defines it as and what it runs to. So they're like, get you a whole new dictionary, baby. Forget Webster's. Get into yourself and find out what it means to you. Don't let yourself be shortchanged or robbed by this old fluff. It's like, get rid of that cotton candy, baby. Swoop it on out of here, and you're calling for some chakra energy to do that. All right, so these are crystal cards, but I like to use them as chakra identifiers, energy identifiers, and we're identifying, okay, that's serious stuff. We're identifying this new stability, this new alignment. Whoa, it's buzzing hard, y'all. What aligns with your truth? What is your truth, and how do you bring it in? What's it going to look like, and where is it going to operate from? In this Frisky Friday, for joy to the world, I hear you, peoples. Well, that's a strong reiteration. Okay, stepping in the aquamarine, which is, oh, there we go, which goes along with this. It's very Piscean. Very Piscean. So they're saying, don't alter it, don't change it, don't try and refine it, don't try and redefine it. And they're not talking about definitions there. There means it's going to come in kind of like what is that, pig Latin? And you're like, okay, wait, what does that mean? What are they trying to say to me? And trying to decipher, crack the code. And it's like, what your spirit says to you is what your spirit means. So feel into it. Feel into the meaning. Don't just let your mind run the rat roads, the rat race of what it always means to society or to everyone else. Begin to break it down for me, fellas. Begin to break it down for yourself. And it's like more than just truth. When it goes from the blue is our throat chakra. It is our truth. It often has to do with our example and how we live our lives outwardly based on what we believe inwardly. But when it moves into the aquamarine, which is you're calling it the veiled cyan. So it shows up here, but it comes from the innermost tube of the spine of the self. It's called wonderfulness, is what you're talking to me about. I have a ancient drawing from back in 2013 about that internal energy, about making it to the peak and the pinnacle, thinking that's what you want, and realizing when you get there, there is no view. There was no view, nothing that you want, nothing of your dreams. And so you see this little opening and realize you have to descend down inside of the mountain. And when you stand on the very central part of yourself in the precipice, it breaks open all the 8 rays of who you already are. And that 9th ray, which is the invitation, is like a moving sidewalk from where you're at into exactly where you're headed, and you land right up in it. Okay, no trespassing, no whatever else. Is just like being transported and land out right there. Thank you, Star Trek. Okay, so now as you're bending around your dog leg and back, so we're weaving through a lot of these energies that have been going on with the retrogrades and things like that. So Zachriel is like Vanna, hello. I don't have any fancy sound effects for that, y'all, but you have my tongue running 8 miles a minute. So I hope you're keeping up, and I hope you're still tuning in, because y'all, let's bring this into completion. I don't know why we do it like this or why it's all like this, but it is here for you, okay? So, ooh, we got number 5, and remember manipulation. So to me, 5 isn't just a number of change, it's a number of empowerment, being able to take it into your own hands, to own your mind with one hand, you own your heart with the other, and together you bridge the gap in between. That begins to allow your truth, your authority, your power, your reputation. That doesn't mean a cultivated reputation. That doesn't mean this crap. That doesn't mean this crap. That's like up in stereo, all up around my head, beating my head up, boxing my ears. This is your true truth. This is your divine self. This is your freaky deaky that we normally talk about. And some of you bringing dolphins with you. You're like swimming into the field of your dreams, and they're carrying it out to bring it back in. You're walking right on in it, and you're like, I don't care if I can see or not, if darkness is coming, if I walk through the darkness into the daylight, it doesn't matter. I can always see, because I look through the eyes of my heart, is what you're talking about here. Taking that clarity, that purity, that view of the candlelight. And the candlelight has to do with the true spirituality of your heart. Now, we are made up of mind, body, and soul, okay? The soul is ours. The spirit is the breath that is given from life, that animates it all and brings it all together. It brings in that 4th element, the plasma state, right? So in here, this has to do with many lifetimes, all the emanations of yourself, all the facets of self coming together here, those both seen and unseen. Now, we can talk about past lives being, well, I was dead, and 300 years ago I was this, that. Baby, if you are living, you've already had many past lives in this little flesh and body you're wearing right here. How many times has it gone into, and no, they call it, one of mine, I laughed because I called it a sagwa. I was like, what, Yoda, are you up in here? It's a saga onto the next book in the series, okay? So when we talk about a new chapter here, we're not talking about a new little number in the same little binding. We're like, no, that whole new body, that whole new self stepping into a whole new story, a whole new element coming in, okay? So you're asking for another card. You're asking for another card. What is that element that you're bringing in here that facilitates that forward movement of the seen and the unseen? Brings in the greening up and the rebudding of your branch that was cut off of all that you deemed lost. I see you. Sorry, there was a big spillage and I had to wait to see which one it really is, because there was a disguise going on. There's distraction going on. Remember, just like all these ideas of what truth is and what it would look like when you bring it back, okay? There's all these things that are hidden in plain sight, which is very much an Aquarius type energy. So, okay, you're talking about Aquarius here, which is interesting because Aquarius is stepping into emerald, which also has a strong Taurian element to it. It's like I see a fist going on here. It's about tenacity, but you're saying tenacity in grace, coming from a gracious place, an open space, a relaxed space in the heart, but and the mind as well. But a tenacity of fiber, of being. It's kind of like when we say the word grit, what would kind of resonate in your mind, or iron in your blood. It's that thing that strengthens you and gives your backbone the erectness that it needs in order for you to perceive forth as your superhuman divine intelligent self going on. So let's see what's going on under that Neptunian prosperity. What were you dipping your toes, dipping your foot on in? You're talking about ring my bell, ring my bells. Bell, bell, bells, bells, bells. And if you hadn't ring that bell, subscribe, baby. But there are bells going on in here. And you're talking about chambers. You're talking about old dust. Old dust that kept you high and dry. It kept you high and dry. I can see why you were wanting to put your foot in it, wanting to be restored to green up the land, because that tree around there is cherry blossoms, and cherry blossoms are cheery blossoms, cheerfulness, and cheerfulness is that delight of the heart. It's like the next step up from happiness is literally the sensation of happiness as it courses through our veins, as it titillates our mind, as it sparkles like the champagne bubbles when the cork has been popped, all right? And that's what you were doing underneath the surface here, is there was that withholding of self, like saving it for a rainy day, saving it for the appropriate moment. That's why it's coming in under this shiz diz up here. You're like, I'm going to whop that shiz right off of there. I'm going to whop it off her face. We just brushing it right off of there, because it was holding on, holding out, nourishing and nurturing yourself, holding out in your field of dreams. But the thing is, baby, you were only getting wet because your umbrella, your coverings got holes all up in it. You're like, I put them there so I could feel what it felt like to feel the light of the sun, to feel the warmth of the breeze, to feel the rain on my skin, to feel clean all over again. I was like, baby, you don't have to do that. Just leave that pedestal and platform that you put yourself on. That identity that you had of yourself, it's almost like being served like a pizza peel. A pizza peel is that little wooden thing that they shimmy it into the oven with. Baby, you are done. Come out that oven. You don't need to be cooked no more. What you waiting for? What you waiting for? And that's interesting because it's coming after this. It's like the backstory. How are you looking? It's like this. It's like the backstory. Leaving this behind to forge ahead, to move on forward, not knowing like you did this in your dream state and in your mind, but this was your reality, your body that's going on here. So that emerald has to do with that heart, that greening of the heart. No more playing yourself in that extreme juxtaposed energy, because we have the red chakra and the purple chakra going on here. Let's just keep it simple, people. It's that old story of trying to fill in all the blanks in between. But if all you had was the first word of a sentence and the last word, we get all sorts of lost. Who would come up with the same thing? How would you figure yourself out? How would you know who you are, how you operate? And you're like, I know, Joy, I know. That's why I'm scared of Hasman. I'm scared because whatever I think is going to come to be, and I don't know if I know myself yet. I'm like, get down off of there. Get up on this, baby. Get up on this. Look how relaxing and ease you are. You're on a break. You're on a vacay. You're relaxing on that bench up in the middle of the cheerfulness you got going on. You got a friend over here, the kingfisher, your reward. You got the divine fish. You tickling it with your foot. You're like fishing off in there with your Piscean self. Whatever's in Pisces for you, take a look at your chart, my friend, and see what's going on there. And that is what you're titillating, what you're touching, what you're making move with the fingertips of your mind, okay? Now, underneath this power that you were like of your sun, of your solarness, of seeing yourself directly, this is you're saying the undermining, the underlying. For some of you, twofold, your sexuality. It doesn't matter this is you, okay? And for a few of you, this is you. You're the one playing in the mindsets, maybe being saucy or spicy through your text, but never fully appearing and being seen to have the real connection in real life, right? You've been doing this sort of thing, living between worlds, and you feel like you have to be restrained, like you don't have the real heart, the real right or permission, or who's going to even get you on your amazing cosmic. How would we do it? I don't know how to blend Jupiter and Mars together, but if you mix those words together, whatever it would be, that's what your crown of glory is there in your earthen self, in your earthen body. But this thing has led to the playing of games, but you're literally playing yourself. This person's being drawn into you, but you don't even totally know their mind. You need to know your mind. You need to know your mind. Not let other people's truth become your truth, because you're being fed something and you don't even know if it's lies or not. And the truth is, it could be somebody else's truth, but not fit you. Like, I'm not going to pop your shoes on. We have to have the same size feet, and we have to have the same shape feet for it to feel good or feel comfortable for me. So not just anything fits in your mouth, baby. And not just everyone is your eternal flame. But for some of you, you have met that person. You have come upon them, and you know it's time, but you're a little bit afraid because you see the reiteration of this pedestal energy. Can you see that? Of you playing yourself and abstaining from life and abstaining from living. But look, there is a sign of hope left. One more blossom. And that doesn't mean you have to wait till it falls. That is life coming back to you because you give yourself permission to put your foot in it, baby. Right? Potato salad, put your foot in it. Make it taste good. Make it sweet. Put your finger in it, baby. Put your finger in it. Okay, put it in your mouth. Come on in here. Come on in here. I want to get a rune on that for you real quick. No. I know what we're doing. The wisdom card. I remember, y'all. Let's find out what is this wisdom from that. Because that's 28. That's divine perfection. That has to do with the wholeness of self. The total package. And that's what has you scared. You're like, I know. I'm kind of more scared that I'm the total package, that I'm the whole deal, that I am the, the star of the show, that I am sought after, that I am the crowning dish, the most desired, that type of thing. And you're like, I never saw myself as such. I didn't realize it like that because this is how I played myself up, because this is how I thought I had to be. But remember, this is married to that old crusty energy. Okay? This is not really you. This is society's view of you, and you playing into what you think or deem as society's view of you, when really, baby, this is you. This is you. This is you, okay? When you take this mask off and you admit your power, your beauty, the emanation of who you are, this is you. Okay, this divine self, like in the perfect world that you're supposed to be and that you flourish and thrive in. Come on in, baby. Come on down. And this is you as elite, as cultured and cultivated in yourself and your truth and who you are in your divine beauty. And beauty, whether you're male or female. Here it has to do with your integrity being the same on the inside as the outside. And this is your cosmic realm. Okay, so let me get this card for us. Get our pearl. Get the pearl for us to connect to Hasmon, to do away with our own undoing, which means to step into the power of permission of being ourselves. I see you. There's been a lot of that going on. What you talking about? So I hear that song. You're going to see why. There you are. I see you. You're talking about, okay, that's it very clearly. You're talking about, tell me lies, tell me sweet little lies. That's not what you really want. That's not what you really want. That's this card. Okay? That's this card. Look at them. They like bedfellows. They like lovers. This is the female facet and the male facet. And they're like husband and wife. And you're like, shh. Remember, I was going to get rid of that up there. But this is you and your divine self. That's you. This is you trying to exist under that deceitful energy going on there. When really you're telling me, so what came here, there was a spillage. You're talking about walking away from that, seeing your true beauty, the beauty of your pink, your power, your passion, your scarlet, your fuchsia, your earth energies rising up into this cosmic world and bringing it down here to earth. How? Okay, so you need to rest and rejuvenate. You need to wrap yourself up in your beauty, your love, your passion, your life, your permission to have these gossamer threads, your permission that being the fool of life, the fool unto life, that all good things work out for you, that you're beautiful and magnificent, that you're perfect and divine, and that brings in the fragrance of victory. That brings in the open throat chakra, the open sacral chakra, which means you're receptive and fully connected, okay? And that's a 28 as well. Look at that, baby. Get ready for it. Get ready for it. Feeling a little frisky. That was a lot, y'all, so I'm glad you were frisky to help me get all the way through it. If you stayed, I'm glad you were here for the whole read. Hey, I'll talk to you soon. Bye.